Hello. Okay. We are so lucky. Let's return to Nadi Shodhana. It's going to give us great preparation for this next subject matter and for the practice of mantra, in particular, the mantra Om. And so you'll recall earlier when we were doing chakra shuddhi that ajna, the sound that goes with ajna, the third eye, is Om. And so energetically, the nadis, the pathways, Ida and Pingala, they cross, and every place where they cross in the body is a chakra, a vortex of that energy. And it's at the third eye where Ida and Pingala come together and merge to drop into Brahma Nadi, or excuse me, Shushumna. The two Ida and Pingala nadis connect, merge, and the prana, the energy, drops into Shushumna, the central channel. And this is the part of the process of samadhi, or, Kundalini rising, or enlightenment. Okay. So we're going to do the manual version this time. Just the traditional sort of simple version of Vishnu Mudra. Right hand, index finger and middle finger dropping in, and then palm in front of the face. Now it's mid-afternoon, and so let's start by inhaling through the right side this time. Before we begin, go ahead and close your eyes, but avert your gaze upward. Take your gaze up towards ajna for this. We will be pausing at the fullness of inhale. So this is the kumbhaka, that breath retention, antar kumbhaka, which is the breath retention at top of the inhale. Okay. Now you can't really do it wrong, except to try too hard or to maybe strain. That's the only way that you can really mess it up. So give yourself an opportunity to just relax into a comfortable seated position. And from there, you have the opportunity to begin at your leisure. One or two more rounds of breath to be complete. And then you can drop the mudra, but maintain eyes closed and an awareness now of two channels in your nostrils, both rising up like energy in the shape of an inverted V, moving up to ajna, to the third eye. Uh, and now let your palms meet together in front of your heart. And let's spend a little bit of time with the sound Om. Inhale. Om. 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 Ah. 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 Oh. Ah. Ah. Still resonant with the unstruck sound. Om is a fantastic mantra. It is good first aid. It's it's a very fast paced and direct route to centeredness, and there's a cumulative effect over time. Yeah, Om is fabulous. So let's dive in to that subject in particular. If you're in the manual today, as it is currently, page 48. And so we're looking at this excerpt from an author named Simon Heather. So just reading from this excerpt. According to Vedic philosophy, Om is the primordial sound from which the whole universe was created. It is a sacred sound in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Om is also known as Omkara, the Om syllable. It appears at the beginning of most Vedic chants and is said to be the essence of the Vedas. Now, stopping there for a moment. We've been sort of working our way towards Om. You'll recall the Chakra Shuddhi technique, where we said Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om, and silent Om. Yeah. So those seed sounds all culminate into one sound, Om. And so the Upanishads are full of references to Om. It says, the imperishable is Om, and it is all this, whatever is visible, whatever is cognizable, whatever can come within the purview of sense perception, inference, or verbal testimony, whatever can be comprehended under the single term, creation, all this is Om. If he meditates on the Supreme Being with the syllable Om, he becomes one with the light. He is led to the world of Brahman, the absolute being, the Supreme, who is higher than the highest life, that which is tranquil, unaging, immortal, fearless, and supreme. That comes from the Prashna Upanishad. Here from the Svetasvatara, the Svetasvatara Upanishad. God is the syllable Om. Out of him proceeds the supreme knowledge. Now in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Om has three aspects. It's the sound of creation that is heard in deep meditation. It's the most sacred of all Sanskrit mantras. It is a symbol which represents the four levels of consciousness. Swami Krishnananda says, we do not create Om by a chanting of it, but we only produce a vibration sympathetic with the vibration that is already there by its own right, and which is called Om. Om is a cosmic vibration. It is not a chant made by us, created by us, or initiated by us. Why do we chant Om? To establish a connection between ourselves and that which exists by its own right, and which manifests itself as a sound vibration in the form of Om. So this is why it is a corrector of all things. It fixes everything, to some degree or another, because it connects you to the source of all things. It's a sacred syllable representing Brahma. Brahma, the impersonal absolute, omnipotent, omnipresent, the source of all manifest existence. Brahman in itself is incomprehensible. So a symbol is used to help us recognize or realize the unknowable. Now for the camera, just going to hold this up. The symbol Om. Yeah. Okay. The vibration Om is the manifestation of God in form. Om is the sound of the infinite. Om is said to be Adi Nadi, without beginning or end, and embracing all that exists. Om is called pranava, that which pervades all life. Literally, pranava in Sanskrit means humming. Pranava also means controller of prana, or to roar, sound, or reverberate. Om is said to be the essence of all mantras, the highest of all mantras, the divine word, or Shabda Brahman. It gives power to all mantras. Hence, all mantras begin with Om, and without it are said to be deprived of power. Sounding Om clears the mind for meditation. Om consists of three sounds: the vowels ah, the vowel ah, the vowel u, and the nasalized sound. Hence, it is sometimes written as A-U-M, A-U-M. When taken letter by letter, A-U-M, Aum, Om, represents the divine energy, Shakti, united in its three elementary aspects: Brahma Shakti, Vishnu Shakti, and Shiva Shakti. Those are the powers of creation, preservation, and destruction, respectively. The three portions of Om relate to the states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, and to the three gunas, Raja, Sattva, and Tamas. They are ruled by the gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the divine in its threefold role as the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the universe. Now, it's not lost on me that we keep saying the threefold, the threefold, the threefold. And look, it's very much there. The three. Om represents all time. Here we go again. Past, present, and future. And is beyond time itself. Om represents the eternal oneness of all that is, and is the ultimate goal of yoga, to become unified in body, mind, and spirit. Chanting Om is perhaps the oldest of yoga's spiritual practices. In the Mandukya Upanishad, we find this beautiful passage. The symbol Om is the bow. One's self indeed is the arrow. Brahman is spoken of as the target of that arrow. It is to be hit without making a mistake. Thus, one becomes unified with it as the arrow becomes one with the target. Thus, sounding Om directs our awareness towards the Supreme Self, the true nature of the universe. The Yoga Sutras instruct seekers to contemplate Om as a direct path to enlightenment. Direct. The sound of one's own nerve system. The repetition of the sound Om, along with a deep contemplation of the meaning of what it represents, brings both the realization of the Supreme Self and the removal of obstacles that normally block that realization. The word pranava in Sanskrit means humming. This sound can be heard as the sound of one's own nerve system, and meditators and mystics hear it daily, like the sound made by an electrical transformer, or a swarm of bees, or 1,000 venas playing in the distance. Hearing Om is a strong inner experience, one that yogis hold with great reverence. The yogi is taught to inwardly transform this sound into the inner light, which lights up one's thoughts, and to bask in the blissful consciousness of light. Pranava is also known as the sound of the Nadanadi Shakti, the energy current of sound. Hearing Om draws one near to God consciousness. Nadanadi. When the world too strongly dominates our mind, this sound may not be heard. It is heard when the mind becomes perfectly quiet, silent, still. If you listen for this sound in your quietest moments, you will experience divine energy, particularly the energy that lives within you, within all men, within all creatures, within all existence. Om is a mula mantra, the root, the beginning of most mantras. Om is the bij, the seed mantra of the third eye, and chanting Om activates this energy center. Om is also known as the Adi Bij, the primary seed mantra. Om is used within sacred chants to increase their power as well as to draw the practitioner into a state of deep meditation. It is very important when repeating Om to pronounce the O sound correctly. In Sanskrit, the sound O is a diphthong, a subtle sound that begins with one vowel and changes to another vowel within the same syllable. Thus, O sound begins with ah, as in law, and ends with the U sound as in put. Oh, it is why it is often written as A-U-M. Aum. When these two vowel sounds are combined in the diphthong, it produces a single pure vowel sound. When we sound Om, it should sound like the word home without the beginning H sound. Though indivisible, Om has four subtle sounds that correspond to four levels of consciousness. The first sound, ah, represents Vashvanara, the conscious waking state. The second sound of U represents the Taijasa, the subtle unconscious dream state. The third sound, represents prajna, the causal subconscious deep sleep state. The fourth sound is the silence that follows the sound Om, that represents Turiya, the absolute consciousness that illumines and pervades the three prior states. When chanting Om, equal measures should be given both to the O and the sounds, i.e., Om, and not Om or Om. It should be equal, and some would say that you parse it out equally, the A, the U, and the M. When chanting Om, we can focus our gaze on the third eye. If using Om in mantra meditation, we may wish to use a mala to count the repetitions. 108, repetitions. In the correct pronunciation of Om, the sound proceeds from the navel with a deep harmonious vibration and gradually manifests itself by stages at the upper part of the nostrils, where the N sound is sounded. Anushvara is the nasal sound that is halfway between the and the N. So M and N. So halfway between the M and the N sound. Yeah. Anushvara is represented with a dot above the letter. In International Alphabet of Sanskrit transliteration, the corresponding symbol is an M with an under dot. If we pronounce Aum slowly, we open the mouth wide with the ah sound, gradually closing the mouth to produce the u sound, and finally closing it with the sound Aum is said to embrace the whole frequency range of human speech. In Tibetan Buddhism, Om is called the body vajra of all Buddhas. It invokes the power of the universal resonating with its omnipresent and therefore occurs at the beginning of most mantras. In Sanskrit, vajra means thunderbolt, diamond, or adamantine, denoting indestructibility and immutability. Lama Govinda says, the sound Om opens a person's being to the vibrations of higher reality. Chanting Om helps to tear down the walls of our ego. Om is the original deep note of timeless reality, which thrills through us out of a beginningless past, and whose sound comes to meet us when we have developed our sense of inner hearing through stilling the mind. Oh. This transcendent sound is like an opening of the arms to embrace everything that lives. When it is spoken in the heart of one who is truly striving in devout faith, it is an expression not of self-aggrandizement or of self-expression, but of acceptance and sacrifice, giving and taking at the same time, a taking that is free of desire and a giving that does not attempt to impose its will on others. So this first part is the conscious state, being awake, experiencing through the five senses. Here's unconscious state of deep sleep or death. Here's the dream state. You experience the world without being fully awake, deeply asleep. Here's the veil. Here's Maya, the illusion. This is what prevents us from our experience of self. And then here, Turiya, the infinite state. Yeah. Absolute consciousness cannot be expressed by a sound. So you see the ah, or the ah, the and the and the silence. A-U-M, Aum, is composed of 3 letters and symbolizes the physical plane, the astral plane, the causal plane. These are seen when Om is written. Stephen Cross says that the 3 curves that are joined together stand for 3 levels of reality within which man moves. The lowest curve represents the world of waking experience, corresponding to the physical body and to the material universe. The middle curve on the right-hand side represents the dreaming state of man and corresponds to mental life, the inner world of dreams, imagination, and subjective experience. The upper curve is said to represent the state of dreamless sleep during which consciousness persists. It corresponds to the causal body, subtler than the subtlest form from which the other 2 states arise. Above these 3 curves is a dot, which has an arc below it to emphasize its separation from the rest. This dot stands for that other order of reality which lies altogether outside of manifestation and can never be grasped by the mind. The entire symbol together with the crescent and the dot stands for the fourth state, samadhi, which combines all these states and transcends them. The crescent symbolizes the veil of illusion, maya, and the dot beyond is the transcendental state, turiya. It represents the final dissolution of the universe, the blissful non-dual principle. The whole symbol represents Brahman, the one that ever remains unchanged. The mystical symbol Om is the bow. In meditation, the mind and the senses are withdrawn from the realm of Maya and directed at the imperishable principle, its target. Om is the bow. Brahma is the target. We are the arrow. And Om propels us directly back to our own divinity. Om is the primal sound that emanated with the first creation. The sound caused by creation also gave rise to movement. The movement of the earth and all the movements of the cosmos. The primordial, the first sound is Omkara. All the sounds in the universe have emanated from Omkara. All sounds are related and connected in some way with one another. Sound is present everywhere. Sound has three different aspects. Once again, they blend together into one whole. These aspects are creation, sustenance, destruction, which are the functions of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The three aspects thus represent the Trinity of the Godhead. These aspects are embedded in the sounds of the letters A, U, M. Yeah, the combination of these three sounds results in and makes Omkara. Thus, the three letters A, U, M, A, U, M make the word Om. The sound A arises at the throat. The sound U arises from the tongue, and the sound arises from the lips. When they join together, they become one sound, and it arises from the navel. The navel is compared to the lotus, and it is the place where Brahma resides. It should begin in a low tone and gradually rise into a crescendo over the course of the sound. Like a triangle, starting at the base and rising to a peak. The chanting of Om 21 times will turn and direct each of our faculties towards the spiritual goal at work, or all work will then get transformed into worship. We chant Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace is invoked for mind, body, and soul. Peace is necessary for all three together. Let's take a little break, and we're going to come back for some chanting and get into Paramahansa book. Okay.